Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 409, Fall. This episode aired on November 30th, 2014. It was written by Jane Espenson and was directed by Mario Van Pebbles. Before we go into our recapping and chatting, let's go over a synopsis for Fall. In Arendelle. Having been released from Ingrid's freezing spell, Hans ambushes Anna and Kristoff, forcing them to flee. They devise a plan to find a man who is going to sell Anna's parents a wishing star that would allow them to wish for a solution to their problem and save Elsa. But Hans is one step ahead of them. Not only has he already bought off Blackbeard, but he reveals that they've all been frozen for 30 years. After this revelation, Anna and Kristoff are thrown into a trunk and overboard into the middle of the ocean. As they think they're about to die, something unexpected happens. And in Storybrooke, our heroes have until sundown to find a way to stop Ingrid's curse. Elsa finds Anna's necklace in some wreckage by the ice wall and is convinced that they can find Anna with it. Belle finds a counterspell that will help any afflicted by the curse and counteract the effects, but they'd need Anna or the mirror dust embedded in the necklace to get it to work. Elsa steals the necklace to find her sister, but it takes them out onto the abandoned beach. Elsa is about to give up hope when she wishes her sister were with her now, creating a portal that brings Anna and Kristoff over from the enchanted forest. Her necklace was the wishing star. When they try to get Anna to the fairies to create the potion, it's too late. Killian had already come through at Rumpel's behest and trapped the fairies in the sorcerer's hat so that he could cleave himself of the dagger, dooming the town. As the spell looms, everyone hunkers down to protect each other. Henry is locked away in the mayor's office, Regina in her vault, and Snow and Charming in individual cells at the sheriff's station. Ingrid's mirror is complete. I did my little bit of research before watching the episode because I started doing it in that direction, which sometimes
it is the superior method in my opinion.
Sometimes that turns into me doing the research like days ahead of time, like that, because it makes me feel like I've done a little bit of work. And so
maybe I should start attempting that so I don't leave it all to one day.
But I forgot that Jane Espenson wrote the episode until I started watching it again, and I wrote down 9 different lines. Which is like that alone is proof of, because this one doesn't quite have, it has a little bit of Regina trauma, but not like as much as we normally see from her episodes. But it definitely has the humor.
This is a little suddenly reminiscent of a Bob's episode. I have many lines.
I have ever done 9 lines. Do we want to do the lines
How many burgers
first?
did you get?
Do we want to do the lines now just to get then we talk?
I only have 2, so I'm going to do mine because they're probably going to match yours.
Let's find out.
Of course you have Is everyone into this hope thing now?
I do have that one.
And I know you have this one. I should know better than to trust blondes by now.
I'm pretty sure I also have that one, yeah. I also have, this is magic. It doesn't care about ceilings. I don't know why that's funny. It just is.
That is, it just is.
We're relying on mirror dust and fairies. I just thought that was funny. This is one I forgot about entirely is Anna. I sang with you.
Anna is so great in this.
She's the best.
She's amazing.
This one is less a funny line and more a case of like, this is why the performance is phenomenal, yet the character is frustrating. I don't have time for everyone else. If I have to choose between everyone else and me wins every time. That's Rumpelstiltskin.
Which is so funny because it's so sassy.
Yes, it is.
It's so sassy.
It's extremely sassy. We have, this is one that 2 of the lines I wrote down here, I put in a compilation of Snow being fed up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, look at this mess. A good mayor checks that these things are kept up to code. Yeah, well, if the mayor only has to worry about one villain and it's herself, that frees up a lot of time for infrastructure. I've had other issues.
Regina's face at that one was
yes,
perfect. Chef's kiss.
Regina's face that entire time, because then you also have Snow going, Regina's right. Regina makes surprise face. Emma, yeah, I heard it too.
Yeah.
It'll be sundown before you munchkins finish. Dwarf, sister, like I care.
Not me getting overly excited that Leroy's in this episode. All caps, Leroy!
This might be my favorite one, especially because Regina starts the episode with, is everyone on about this hope thing? Time for a hope speech? Virtues of blind faith? Well, it seems Elsa's blind faith is exactly what's screwing us right now. Coming from you, that's just terrifying.
Right?
Like, that's it. That's all I have for lines. But like, it's the fact that there's that many. Like, this is a Jane Espenson episode through and through. Is they gave her something like so serious, and she found ways of making it so ridiculously unserious.
it just Regina makes the whole episode enjoyable, in all honesty.
And most of those were Regina lines.
Like, she just thoroughly made this a fun episode to watch because it's not supposed to be fun.
Not particularly, not when like they're kind of facing imminent doom.
Yeah, I mean, I can now take a mark off on my bingo card watching Prince Charming and Snow White voluntarily lock themselves in a prison. So there's that, you know.
Just just wait until next week.
Jesus Christ.
Like
I think
we're
my
we're
favorite
so close to Shattered. We're so close to Shattered Sight, and it's like the fact of like I still can't say anything because you haven't watched it yet. But like, it's so much fun to watch.
But now see, like, Leroy's in this one, so I'm like, my hopes are really high now. I'm like, ooh, more Leroy. Please. You can't have a spell like this and not have Leroy do some shit,
Mm-hmm.
in my personal opinion. He's grumpy.
Yeah.
But Gold only caring about Henry and Belle is on point
Yep.
for him, but at the same time, I hate him and he annoys me so much.
That's fair.
Because just everything in this.
Yes.
It has me so angry because I'm like, Rumple, stop. Just stop. You could help everybody and everything would like actually work out great, but you're so selfish and self-centered that this is all you care about. So
that's Rumple to a T, though. That's the thing is like, and we'll see in the next couple episodes his response to how all this goes down when the truth comes out, obviously, because it will. And like, it's his response is constantly like he wants everything, and Belle just like even Killian says, like, she loves you so much, and it's not enough for you because it's like I was saying, it's addict behavior at the end of the day.
It really is narcissistic at like, and it's
Extremely.
also very self-deprecating.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if you push everybody away and only care about yourself, and of course, maybe the two people you care about, eventually you're going to push those people away too.
Yep.
That's how that works.
I look forward to you seeing their altercation in 411. It's I've said it before. Belle finally gives him what he deserves.
No, don't go violent, Katie. My brain went, a knife in the gut. Hold on, back it up a little bit. That's a little much.
Is it though?
Oh, I hope she does now.
We're gonna see her with a certain piece of machinery, or not machinery, or something, some metalworks. Let's go with that.
Metalworks. Okay.
Metalworks.
I'll try and keep that in mind when I watch next week.
Well, it's in 2 episodes because I know.
Oh yeah, next week
because our numbering conventions are weird. So basically, I've just decided I'm gonna be fixing your scripts for the next couple of weeks.
Look, I'm not gonna remember,
and I'm not. It's not your fault.
I can barely remember the names.
Next week is 410.
I will say, guys, the amount of times that I'm like, all right, this season, this episode, what's the name? Instead of just going and looking for myself, I just ask Lauren.
It's certainly faster. It's definitely faster.
I love this moment though. I'm like, oh yeah, where is the blue fairy? But also, I love how much Gold hates the fucking fairies. Like,
he hates them so much.
It's so funny.
And it's like the fact at this point, as far as the viewers know, it's just because of what happened with Bae.
Yeah.
I know something you don't know.
You know a lot that I don't know.
This is also true, but and like I'm not gonna say much about it, but there's more to his dislike or hatred of fairies than just what happened with Bae.
And the more I watch, I'm constantly reminded of our little thing of like, they could have made this great story arc of it being the blue fairy all along. And so like the whole time I'm just sitting here like, come on, man, this would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Because every episode that she is technically in, but not also in, because it's weird that way. They'll like mention her sometimes, but
yeah,
she's not there. It would have been such perfect storytelling because she's always there underlying everything.
Mm-hmm.
They need something. Where's the blue fairy?
She's right there.
She's right there.
It's
and
creepy.
With and it's so good. Like, because with how it's already filmed and everything, if they had even just reached the end of the show and been like, you know what? Looking back, this would have been great, and they had done it, it still would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so maniacal. But speaking of dramatics, we're going to speak about the sassiness of Gold and move over to Blackbeard, because that man enjoys his dramatics very much.
He really does. Like I think I said this the last time we saw him. Like he feels a little bit closer to like Dustin Hoffman Hook.
Oh my god, I'm so happy Yes. It also makes me think, yeah, no, definitely Dustin Hoffman Hook.
Yeah, because like what's funny is that's the one that he feels the closest to, which that's the one that when Colin initially auditioned, he's like, "How do I top Dustin Hoffman? I don't." But like truthfully,
Mhm.
his Hook is very different. But it's really funny that's kind of they went the other direction. They went like we have like the very like dashing rapscallion, swashbuckling Killian
Yeah.
Jones, and then we have Blackbeard who he's just he's out for a good time, not a long time.
Well, it made me think a little bit too of the pirate in Stardust, played by Robert
Mhm.
De Niro.
Mhm.
It made me think of him a little bit too because he's just great.
Yeah. But we like a pirate who learns from the lessons of others.
Yes.
He learned from being thrown overboard himself. Trap him in a trunk.
It's just he's so flamboyant, and I'm so
He
happy for him, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm like, "Please don't kill Elsa."
No. He's also
Not Elsa, Anna.
Anna,
Fucking
you're fine. But also that actor, Charles Measure, I think is his name. I went over his IMDb last time. He's done a lot of stuff in general, and he's worked with Elizabeth Mitchell multiple times. And it speaks, and I think he was on Lost also, so that's where they got him. But that's where they, as if he's like a commodity. I mean, he
they're
kind of
just,
is.
like, all on the island
Yeah, but it's
and
like
waiting to be picked up for a
the
role in Once Upon a Time.
like the claw machine, the claw.
Who do we get
Pick
this time?
just pick them up. But I watched an interview of Elizabeth Mitchell doing something. It was a different show because they had worked together multiple times. And like when someone brought him up, first like, she starts calling him Charlie. I'm like that is a good sign that like they had a good relationship. Like they like that like she clearly like brightened up when they mentioned him. Like
That's a good thing.
you want that out of the relationships with the actors. Like how they all call him Bobby.
That's true. Okay.
It speaks volumes to
I
how the
see that,
actors are.
yeah. I like it's so nice.
Yeah.
So, Elsa, why? Why? Like, they still
What
had a chance
specifically?
of finding her. She knew where to go, technically.
They needed to know what was on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, but she, just happened to be able to do. Because then I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they on a beach? Like, it was so random.
No,
Like, we're gonna blast out this wall, and look, it's a nice beach, and people are even enjoying themselves on said beach.
no, I know the logistics of the cavern or the mines opening out onto the beach makes no sense, especially when they finally cut to the wide shot and clearly there's no place for that hole to be because behind them is a fucking walking path with people walking.
Like, people are enjoying themselves. A day at the beach as a curse is about to, take over.
That's one of those things is like when they because they film in real locations and there's some things that they don't shut down Main Street when
Mm-mm.
in Stevenson when they would film, so anyone milling around in the background, those aren't extras, those are people just going about their day, going to the different shops. The stores are all open with the exception, I wonder if it must have changed once the clock tower became the library and it actually opened again, but for the first 2 seasons that's the only business that had to be closed because for filming
The library
requirements, the
wasn't.
library because that's a hardware store, I believe. But like all the businesses were open. So that's another thing of like they're on a public beach with a public walking path. Kind of can't close it, especially since it's just people in the background. But
Such a interesting ambiance
it
of
ruins the dramatics of we're about to be cursed with a spell that'll make us want to kill the people we love. Let's go for a walk.
and, like, Hans is a dick, but we already knew this.
Yeah, that's not new.
I had my motive, like, they can't kill Anna on family television.
Yeah, no, they're not dying. They're not killing. Like
They're not
we've had
no,
this conversation. They're not killing the Disney princess.
no. But then I did have my moment of, like, this is so sad, Anna trying to marry Kristoff while they drown. I teared up. I'm sitting here like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I was gonna cry today. What the fuck? No.
It
But
was very
it's Jane Epstein,
It's
so
Jane Espenson, yes, she's gonna make you cry. But it was very reminiscent of when Rapunzel and Flynn almost drown in Tangled.
yeah,
It was very
it really
reminiscent of that.
is. And of course, oh, the necklace is the wishing star. Okay,
Yeah.
that actually checks out, and I'm not mad at that storytelling because
No.
it works. I'm like,
Hmm.
the sisters are back together. And I just wrote, you can hug your sister later. Run, bitches.
Yeah, basically.
If you can't tell, I'm a joy to watch television with.
That's why we have a podcast here.
I know.
That's the point
Tell
of
that to my
this.
husband. I swear we watch something sometimes, and I just sit there and commentate a little bit. He'll be just looking at me like, "What are you doing? Just watch." And I'm like, "But the things, they're happening."
We talk to the TV as if what we say has any effect on what's gonna happen.
Exactly. And I had to explain it's like my father yelling at football.
Mhm.
Like, especially with cooking shows. I'm that one that's like on like watching cooking shows, competitions. I'm like, "Nope, did that wrong. Nope, that sauce is broken." And Steven's just looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Nope."
Not
I'm
o
like cheering on a cooking show. What can
not
I tell
okay.
you? Nothing can make me dislike Killian.
No, that's fair.
Nothing can. But Gold
Well
is forever an asshole.
well, so much of, like, what he I mean, not so much, all of what he does in this episode is against his will.
Like, he can't control it. He can't do anything about it. And like for me, if Emma or anybody else gets mad at him for any of his actions, that's when it's just like Gold has his heart. It's not
Yeah.
his fault.
And I'm gonna be honest here, they don't get mad at him. They're the first ones to tell him, "You did not have control."
Oh, thank goodness. Because you know how some like that could have been written in easily of someone being really upset. Like, how could you do such horrible things? Like, I was
No.
under the
Well,
control of a madman.
it's the same kinda thing of, like, Emma in season 3, she wasn't mad at Killian because, like, with the kiss lip the kissing, getting rid of her magic spell thing. She wasn't mad at him because of the spell. She was mad that he decided that he could protect Henry instead of telling her and they could figure it out together because it's her son. Like, it
Mhm.
wasn't like the thing that got done that she was mad about is how he went about it.
Yeah. I had my moment of them getting locked up in the cells, and I'm like, "What if you starve to death? You can feed them." Like, they're just in their enclosures.
Yeah.
You can still provide sustenance.
They're having enrichment time in their enclosure. Sorry.
No, that was perfect.
That's where my brain went.
"Hey, where are your parents?" They're locked in their cells for now.
Yeah. But don't worry, they have a water bottle and some hay. They're fine.
Like, throw some, like, Vienna sausages in there. They'll figure it out.
They
Like,
clearly have Pop-Tarts. Emma gave one to Will earlier in the season.
exactly. Like, they'll be fine. You can get food in there without getting too close.
Yeah.
Don't care how mad they are. They need sustenance. It's
Exactly.
also like the sentence, "Elsa, can you hold my brother?"
Yeah, it's a weird sentence for a very heartfelt moment.
Right? And then I just ended with, "I didn't need to cry today," because that last little bit was, like, pretty sad. Like, Emma I think
Yeah.
just Emma being as distraught as she was, and then she's like, "I'm not the kissing and like,
The
crying and
tearful
kissing
goodbye person, yeah.
Yeah. And then she did it, and I'm just like, "Poor Killian."
No,
Poor
this is
Killian.
'cause I wrote this down. I was like, Emma seeing Emma like that is very heartbreaking
It
because,
is.
as we see, she's not someone who lets her walls down very easily. We don't get this kind of, like, deep emotional moment, like, that you can see, like, physically very often. And it takes a lot for her to be that broken in front of anybody, doesn't matter who it is. And I read them like, this is how you show growth of a character and their
Mhm.
openness, not just through the clothes that she wears, because they rely so heavily and they keep claiming that's why, like, she wore the pink dress in 404. We're gonna see her be wearing, like, more, like, florals and stuff as the show goes on. Like, that putting her in pastels is subtle and nice, but you need to show stuff like this, not just say, well, she's more open because she's not wearing leather jackets as often. I'm like, that's not enough. You need to have these moments where we see her even say, I'm not really the tearful goodbye person, but maybe just this once. Like, that's what we need. Like, occasionally you have to actually put it in the text and not the subtext.
Like, you can get a lot from subtext, you
Yeah.
can. But to show actual growth, we need more sustenance. We don't need just, "Here's
Mhm.
little crumbs of how she's
Exactly.
doing."
When it's something so important like your main character's emotional arc, it can't just be subtext.
No, it can't. It's still weird seeing her in pink, though. It doesn't
No, and that
compute.
will
Does not
she
compute.
she doesn't wear pink as often. We're gonna see her in that dress again in season 5. Um, but as
And
far
this
as
isn't like
pink,
saying that a masculine-ish woman can't look that way.
no,
It's more
it's
so of like, it's kind of jarring because that's just how you see the character.
no, it isn't, and I understand the viewpoint of they had set up, and even she said that the leather jacket is her armor, and as she's, more open, less guarded, she doesn't need it. But it still feels a little bit like, and I every time I watch it, I'm like, is it a subtle shift? Is it not? I kind of can't always tell with like because it feels like basically like I'll talk about more as when we get to season 6 mostly. Like her emotional arc, she still goes from fairly guarded to very open very quickly, and then she's gone. Like, it feels like they kind of sped up her emotional growth in season 6.
Interesting.
So we'll get to when we get to season 6, we'll talk more about it. But I have feelings on a certain dress she wears in season 6. I have feelings, and I have the evidence to back up my feelings.
That's fair. That's fair. Look, all I
So
gotta say is, I mean, the characters in this are wonderful, but you know, Ingrid was very, very little in this relationship. Jesus, in this episode, I'm so tired.
yeah, that's one thing as I will
But
say is
God,
like
is she gorgeous?
she's so pretty. And I remember you texted me when we first started watching this. This is a great angle to
Yeah,
start the episode on, and I was like, we can't have more than one episode that's we're being as respectful as we can.
we really can't. But that's why I'm being very respectful and just saying she is a gorgeous woman. And
Jeez.
thank you, Once Upon a Time, for casting her because it's brought more love into my life.
Mm-hmm. We needed we needed a little bit of Elizabeth Mitchell in our
Yes,
lives.
everybody should have a little bit of Elizabeth Mitchell in their lives.
I think
Everybody.
so. See, that can be a title.
There you go. Not titties.
Not just. Did you know titties? That
Did you
can't
know?
be. That can't be an episode title.
It's a bad idea. I
No,
was
but
not actually referencing that. I was just being funny.
yeah, I know.
Texting.
No, I know. But this is because you also in 402 you also because you sent me I left it in the episode. I think it's the clip I pulled out of like me reading like your text messages at one point. You said something about something, and I went, "Are we talking? Or no? Are we simping after Elizabeth Mitchell's dress or something else?" And you just went titties.
Look,
But
if you
yeah,
needed any validation that I am not straight, it's how I react to Lana Parrilla and Elizabeth Mitchell. I'm just
don't
saying.
worry, we'll have Bex back. You'll have someone else to simp after. Also, all
Yay.
of the next half of the season, truthfully, Mal gets a new outfit. And
Ooh.
then there's just Cruella and Ursula. They're just fun to look at. So Cruella in her lovely sequin dress and like 60-pound furs. They are
I
60
can't
pounds.
wait for that.
I can't wait to have so many videos. I can't wait to pull from the same 4 videos a million times. I've watched so many. I was saying before about Ingrid in this episode, it feels like with this arc, it's very similar to Korra in that even though she's not heavily focused in
Mhm.
every single episode, she has so much influence over what's happening because
Well, I mean, she put up a wall around the entire town.
yes, she did in fact put a wall around the entire town. But like with Korra, like with the first half of season 2 most, like she was in most of her arc she was
Mhm.
physically in most of her arc for the second half, but for the first half, like even though she wasn't physically around all the time, it was still that notion of we have to get to the thing to get back to Storybrooke before Korra. Like there was always this notion that she's involved. Similarly with this one, Ingrid, while she's focused, she's definitely in all the flashbacks, or she's in most of the flashbacks. When she's not, other than like kind of like showing up and looking around a corner, then walking away, like
Mhm.
so much of what's going on in Storybrooke is figuring out what she's after. So it's even though we don't have her, like what is she doing? And now we know she's doing something. How do we stop her and where is she? So it's like she's always influencing the story, even though she's not always on screen. And this one, last episode was very heavily her. Next episode's very heavily her. So I'm gonna give her a little bit of a break.
Balance.
Yeah, balance is important.
Look, it looks like she at least could have worn her Uggs during that.
Yes, hopefully she was wearing her Uggs
That
because
dress. They did so good on that dress, though.
it's
It's
gorgeous
a
and
beautiful dress.
it's like
You don't get
encrusted
sick
in
of you don't get sick of looking at it.
no, and there's the
Like the
different
dress
variations.
itself. I really am not like commenting on her body. Like the dress itself.
Mhm.
I comment very very often on the wigs, on the costumes,
Mhm.
everything. This is purely praise for the costume design.
Yes, and like
I promise.
for the different variations we've seen of it too, because like there's the one that she's wearing. This is the same one she's wearing in
Yeah.
Storybrooke, but the different like variations of it with the different collars. And then there's the version that has the riding pants that we saw in Smash the Mirror, which I
Oh,
love
I
that
love
one.
that one.
Like
I
because
love it.
that one was very reminiscent of almost like it looked like it was modeled after one of the Evil Queen outfits.
Mhm.
Because it kind of like the dress was almost more like a riding coat than anything else.
But it's so cool too, though, because it makes me think of Elsa in the second movie
Yes.
when she has that variation as well
Hmm.
for the exact reason, riding horses.
Riding
Um,
horses and swimming and the scene where she puts her
it's
hair
so
up in
good.
the scene where she puts her hair up in the ponytail and all of the internet went, I can't explain why this is gay. It just is.
It is. It is.
It just was.
Yep.
So some fun facts for you. I don't have too many, but I have some. Apparently during shooting of the episode, when they go to take the necklace out of the pouch and it's actually the pebbles from the mine, it was apparently Mario Van Peebles, the director. He suggested that they should use pebbles, whereupon he was then nicknamed Mario Van Pebbles.
I like it.
I think it's hilarious.
That's actually really cute.
Because like we heard, because he was the director for the last episode that we had commentary that was with the two writers, and like they had nothing but wonderful things to say about how he worked and how like detail oriented he is. So that makes sense that he'd be like, we need
Mhm.
Pebbles, but also Mario Van Pebbles.
I like it.
So I'm glad this was confirmed because I think this was always my headcanon anyway. The fact that Olive Arendelle unfreezes 30 years later.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
interesting.
it's interesting that it does that. So basically, the justification the writers gave us, which does make sense, is that because Ingrid says constantly how much, like she said in Smash the Mirror, how much power is required to cast a spell of that size over an entire kingdom. And yes, she is siphoning off the magic from Elsa and from Emma, but
Mhm.
ultimately it was Adam who confirmed that basically Ingrid used all of her magic. She has very little left. She has some, but very little
Oh,
left to start the spell of Shattered Sight, which is why Arendelle defrosted. Basically, she used up so much magic, her hold on that freezing spell dissolved and defrosted, literally. But
wow.
so that's why it was able to thaw 30 years later. It's basically like her hold on she only had so much magic to do what she has to do in Storybrooke now. So she could no longer hold that spell as she had been for the last 30 years.
That's crazy.
So I look that we have a little bit of a justification there because, like, truthfully, having them be frozen for 30 years. I mean, it's a good plot device to make sure everyone's the right age
Yep.
if you're going to set things in flashbacks. But, you know, maybe that would have been I mean, I know no one in Arendelle knows, but that would have been a nice thing to have confirmed in the show, if anything.
Yeah.
But at least we have some confirmation from Adam.
No one ages normally in this damn show. No one.
No, no, they don't. Well, to be fair, yeah, I always put this. People that have magic I always say this, like, if they got magic, they can just not age. That's always my justification for it,
Mm,
generally speaking. Because we don't,
generally
because we
speaking.
don't,
I'm a fantasy reader. I don't get to use that one.
no, I know, but for Once Upon a Time lore, I'm just going to decide if you've got magic, why age? It's fine.
That borderline's vampirism.
Okay.
I can't help it.
It's their
Move on.
magic. To be fair, I use that same logic for that's not the similar logic, but similar logic for Say It Out Loud, where it's just like at a certain point they're shifters. They just shift their age back to where they want to.
I have it right here.
I know you have it right in front of you.
I have it
That's the
right in
logic I
front of me.
use. My character goes on a whole spiel of like, we don't age like we age, but then when we move towns, we go back to being in our 20s because that makes perfect sense.
That oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Though in
It's
theory,
satirical,
it's
right?
satirical. It's
Thank
satirical.
you.
So there's also
Okay.
that. It's satire, but the justification is it gives them enough time to build a new life.
Interesting. Look, I'm building my own magic system right now in my
Hmm.
brain for what I'm writing, so let's not even get into
My magic system is they think it and it
that.
happens. There's not a whole lot of logic
That
in it.
is not my magic
It's not a
system
great
at
logic system.
all.
But a couple more fun facts. So at least one more, and then international titles. Because we haven't had those in a while. Because I've actually had enough fun facts to warrant. Also, the international titles haven't been that different. But apparently, this poor person put so much work into this for it to not appear on screen. One of the graphic designers in the crew, Neil Westlake, created an entire concept art of the map of Storybrooke Mines for this episode, but the
Oh,
map does not appear at all on screen. They look at it, but you cannot see it.
oh no, we need that, I need that now.
Because I want to know how mines are in the middle of town, but
Yeah, that's
also,
not structurally sound.
but also the, I mean, yeah, especially the middle of town, but also the beach. I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
How does that work for you?
Like, caves can get to beaches and all, but
Yeah,
that's
not where there's a walking path.
yeah.
And then there was a couple. Most of the international titles were the same, but there are three that were different, being Finnish, French, and German. Unsurprisingly,
Always.
always those two plus something else. So, Finnish was the counterspell.
Ooh,
French was the shooting star,
interesting.
and German choosing a completely different thing from the episode, like than everybody else. When fairies vanish, like
That wasn't even the main plot point.
they really when like let's pick something that no one's paying attention to.
Germans were like, "Y'all offed our fairies, man."
We are mad about this
The
apparently.
Germans were angry.
So that's what we got there. But I was watching this watching it partially while on FaceTime with you, and I remember
Yeah.
I paused it because I was trying to because I was like, I remember a behind the scenes photo. So if you look at our script, there is one. I found, luckily, this one was easier to find than I was looking for something from Shattered Sight that I don't think I can find anymore.
Oh, they're so cute.
But yeah, so it's a little Instagram photo of them filming the scene by the ice wall. It's Lana, Jared, Jen, and Georgina Haig, just having some fun.
They're
It's a
so
very,
cute.
it's a very 2014 coded selfie.
It really, really is.
It's a good photo, so we'll put that in the we'll put that in the Instagram or something like that. But I like when I can remember them and I find them and like they're not difficult to find, as
Mhm.
opposed to a few weeks ago when I scrolled through multiple people's Instagrams to 10 years ago and found nothing. So, because unfortunately, was I because they this did happen, and I think it's because it's just it's a different account now, or it might be. I can check. Um, for a couple of seasons, I think for both 3A and B, and then 5A. They didn't do it for 5B. Um, Jennifer Goodwin did like a 30 days to the premiere of posting behind the scenes photos, but I don't know if it's this. I don't know if she reactivated her old account when she joined Instagram again.
Mm.
So I might have to check, because I think if she did, I think the photo I'm thinking of was there. If not, even if it's not there, if it is the same account, so the photos came back, that's a trove of behind the scenes photos.
That's gotta be a lot then.
So that's probably a this week project, is I might go see if her account is still the same one, or if she just started an because she was like on Instagram
Good
for a
luck with
little
that.
while. Well, to be fair, if it was a brand new account, she only joined a couple of years ago, so it won't take me too long to get to the back of it if it's a
That's
brand new
fair.
account. But what's sad is, actually, I might check the back of my files, because I saved all of those because I made collages of those photos. So I might still have them somewhere
You
deep in
are
my
the
files.
definition of super fan.
I am
Like,
you know what? I consider myself a once upon a time archivist.
I like that.
I think that's far less crazy.
Not the 150 something episodes thus far of podcast?
No. But
No, not that.
this is what? This is 140 something, excuse you.
Which no, I said of podcast.
Oh, podcast. Okay.
We
I was like,
have multiple specials and book videos
I was
and
like,
or book club videos? Book club podcast. I'm shutting up now because apparently I've lost the ability to word.
this is like episode 143. Although, to be fair, I used your phrase "I word, I don't number" the other day.
Yes.
Because I posted there was this the original video was
You'll get
about
there.
eventually I will also word. The original video was about the live action Snow White, and
I was
I
gonna bring that up.
yeah, no, because I keep seeing, and I find the comments hilarious, but because I'm me, I can't not do things analytically. So it's like all the comments of like, was Lana Parrilla really that busy? Like I think it's, from what
I've
I've
seen
seen,
that a lot.
it's a hilarious comment, but I took it into a conversation of like, fans don't know what they want until they see it, and
Mhm.
then they get it and they go, oh no, not like this. And I was saying, like, fans don't want Lana as this evil queen. They want Regina to come back. That's different. But then someone commented, fans just want a reboot. And I was like, I don't think you do, though. Because
Mm.
so I made another video where I was like,
No, I'm not done yet. Don't reboot it. I have to finish first.
I know, right? I did a whole video. I'm like, fans don't want a reboot. They want to recapture the magic from the first 6 seasons, because we saw what happened with season 7 and how things changed, and people didn't like that. And what I said in the video was, I was like, no, because we're almost 10 years out. And I was like, yeah, I think I said, like, this year will be 6 years since the series finale. And someone commented, like, agree on all fronts except for one thing. It was actually 7 years. I'm like, thank you. I word, I don't number. Like, if that's the thing you're going to correct me on, thank you. It's my
But
math.
I do keep getting videos, and keep in mind, I try to stay as far away from possible from Once Upon a Time online spaces, because
Yeah.
I am so afraid that there'll be spoilers because this show is so old. I am past that point of time where it's like, no, man, there's spoilers.
It's
You're
just going to
gonna like,
happen.
it's going to happen, because once you reach, there's a set of limitations. Like the
The
now I
statute of
can't even word.
The statute of
Thank you.
limitations. Yeah, no,
The statute of limitations are like, I'm sorry if
yeah,
it's a
it
certain
depends.
amount of time.
I was talking about this with a friend of mine. I would say the statute of limitations on certain shows depends on how culturally saturated it was. Once Upon a Time, while having a very big devoted fan base, is still not super culturally saturated. So, like, I have always said, 3 years past the series
Mhm.
finale, have at it.
And then, like, I mean, that makes me think of Friends. Friends
Yeah,
is super saturated. Like, it's one of the biggest shows ever.
yeah,
So, like, you are still gonna get spoilers, but some people still have not watched it.
yeah.
Um,
But you were saying about Snow White.
But even though I wanted to premise that I stay very far away from anything Once Upon a Time,
Yeah.
because now I'm getting videos of people being like, if you want a good Snow White adaptation, this is what you actually should be watching instead of the new Snow White movie. And it's all about Once Upon a Time. And multiple people have done it now. They're all like, this is the adaptation. This is the good one. But
Yeah.
what came out is horrible, apparently. And I'm like, every clip I see, I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh, they did that.
where I am with the live action Snow White is I'll probably try and watch it when it's on Disney Plus because like out of abject curiosity. But but other than that, like everything that I say about why I don't want to see it has genuinely nothing to do with anyone's political affiliations. I'm not boycotting it for any like higher reason. It just looks bad.
I'm not a fan of Gal Gadot,
Yeah,
regardless.
there's
I don't
just
think
that in
she's a very
general.
good actress. So, like,
No, she's just
I
not good.
don't want to watch something with her in it.
No, but also
Wonder
like
Woman was enough.
someone did a comparison because of the criticism that she was seeing about the Snow White and saying like this is all terrible. You should watch the Once Upon a Time. And she's like all the criticism that y'all are saying about like what you should see out of this character, like what like which like that's like you should be putting these same criticisms on the Once Upon a Time Snow White. Like you're not doing what you think you're doing. Like
You're just
the only
mad
difference
that
is
they adapted it differently.
the only difference is that Ginnifer Goodwin Snow White wears pants. Like, that's generally the only reason. My critique of this, and I'll get off my high horse because this is also coming out 3 months after the fact anyway,
Yeah.
is of the songs that they kept in, they left in Whistle While You Work, which I really like that song, but she doesn't sing it high enough. It feels wrong at the range that she, like, the clip that they put it in and the key that
Rachel
it's
could
in,
do that,
she
though.
probably could. She's a very talented singer, but
She's, like, on Broadway and shit.
like, it's maybe it's just because it's just not the register that I'm used to, but also it's a fact
Mhm.
of she doesn't whistle and whistle while you work. So there's also that. That's a me thing, but
Yeah.
like it's because it's like it's just
And that's not an attack on her. She's
no,
taking direction.
it's the direction. It's how they chose to do it. But it's that same vibe of I saw a clip of the cast that's doing Hercules, the stage production,
Okay.
and they posted a clip of Zero to Hero, and for whatever reason, it's just a little too slow. And all of the comments are,
Ooh.
if you just up the tempo, this would be amazing. But like that song needs to be fast.
It has to be.
Like that's
It's
the whole point
what
of it.
gospel is.
But because it's like I don't even remember if I can do the actual tempo, but it was like bless my soul, Herc was on a roll. It was like it's not where you
It's not
need it
fast
to
enough.
be. It needs to be faster. And like it's just like the whole harmonies all sounded great. I'm like, it's just
Because it's
wrong. It's
meant
just
to be
wrong.
a montage.
It has to be. It was just like
So,
yeah. So like people when they make changes, make sure they're good changes.
yeah. Because, like, the only but I think I saw everything I have seen about the new Snow White movie has all been from, like, it just pops up on my feed. I'm not searching anything out because I have no interest. Like, I'll probably end up seeing snips of it just when the kids see that it's on there and they're like, oh, I think we're going to watch this. I'm like, y'all have fun
Yeah.
with that. I think I've seen various little pieces of Moana too since it came out because the kids have watched it 50 times.
No, that's fair.
I still have not actually watched Moana 2 all the way through, but it's been on my screen many, many times.
Fair.
But you can definitely tell that they auto-tuned the crap out of Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Which,
She's
I'm
not a
sorry, but if
singer.
you're going to have a singing part, please hire someone who can sing.
She's not a singer.
She's not a singer. I love Rachel, but that is, biased. She's also Lucy Graybeard, so it's really hard for me to not like her.
Yeah.
So, and that and her in Romeo and Juliet
Mm-hmm.
has been, like, the clips from that have been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest gripe is the dwarves.
The dwarves are so bad.
And then people are trying to come for Peter Dinklage, and I'm like, he just said, hey, how about you give the work to actual little people
Mm-hmm.
instead of the CGI crap?
No.
And there's apparently something magical that happened with the dwarves' hands in it. And it's been 3 months since the movie came out by the time I'm saying y'all hear this. So, and I'm like, you can still CGI that part and still have little people as dwarves.
Yeah. Apparently, whatever lore they gave the dwarves is so unimportant. Like it's introduced in a scene and then never talked about again.
Oh, so eggs.
Exactly.
It's
On
the
that
eggs
note,
all over again.
On that note, I still have some notes from this episode that I haven't talked about.
Oh!
On that note, let's get back to Once Upon a Time. It's like a 20-minute tangent about the live action Snow White.
It was needed.
It was. This is what happens when we don't have our yap session beforehand.
100%.
But so I only have a couple of things that I didn't already touch on in our conversation before. But when they were at the very beginning, when they're trying to figure out who Henry's going to go with, because Emma's thing is like, I'm going to be immune, I'm probably safest, but she's like, I don't know what she's going to do to you. And like I'm with Regina that like we will kind of never know how Regina would react to Henry. But given the fact that this is not, we'll see, it's very quickly. Snow does not have any reaction to Neil. Like not like
Oh,
not
okay.
like she has no reaction to kill the child. Let's go with that.
That's
Um,
good.
the kid is involved in some of the best lines. I can't again. I need your immediate reactions. I can't say them. I want to though. There's none of them that aren't like amazing. No, I can't do it. But so like, given the fact that we see that, it's assumed Regina, like Henry, probably would be safest with Regina. Like just because Emma isn't affected doesn't mean Ingrid wouldn't do something to hurt him because he's still in the way of Emma being Ingrid's. And like
Oh,
it's this like circular thinking we have to do.
I know.
But Hans's whole thing with hearing Anna say she wants to overthrow Elsa, whatever, like he's like, oh, I think that's treason. I'm like, you're not from this land and you're taking over. This is literally a coup. Like, not with like the whole like the Zelina defense of I'm gonna call people out for doing the exact thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, you're an asshole. Go away. There was
Sorry, hearing anything about a coup right now, I'm just like, oh god.
There was so much blooper brain rot in this episode that I kind of forgot about. Mainly it was Bobby and Colin on the dock when Rumpel tells him what he's going to do with the hat.
Yeah.
Because the blooper of that is I don't know which line it is, but the two of them just get very close and like almost kiss. There's a lot of
Okay, but I could see them actually kissing though in a shot just for funsies.
They're among the men on this show, and actually among the women too as well. There's just so much of the almost kissing each other in the blooper reels.
They're trying to all fuck with us. That's what they're doing. They
That's what
went,
it is.
oh, wait, the fans love this. Let's fuck with them.
There's a blooper from season 6 that is Lana and Bex humping in the background of something.
Oh my god.
Which, to be fair, though, is in the blooper reel, but there's another outtake there's another bit where they were doing that in the background and ruined the entire take of something that's not in the blooper reel. But that's something that I'll bring up when we get to that episode in season 6 because there's a video of Bex explaining that, like, because they didn't realize that they didn't realize they could be seen, and it wasn't until like the next day when someone was like looking at the dailies just went, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "We just ruined." So she's like, and it's a wide shot with a lot of people. She's like, "So apparently we unknowingly we ruined an entire take."
Oh no. I hope it wasn't the best one.
No, it wasn't left. It wasn't left in. So because I don't think anyone wants to see the Mills sisters humping in the background.
I mean,
not the actual characters.
Not the actual characters.
That's a little sweet.
A little much.
Home Alabama.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
You're fine. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It makes for a fantastic joke. But again, with the continual more different locator spells. Can we just pick one already?
It's just constant locator spells.
It's so many
portals. And
portals.
It's everything.
It's portal. I'm not mad at the fact that the wishing star created a portal. I did put in my notes, portals are hard to come by unless the plot dictates otherwise. But because
that one made sense though.
Because it's a wishing star, and like it's already kind of been implied that wishes almost don't really apply to the rules of magic.
Yeah.
So like, I wish you were here with me right now. Magical portal through the ocean. Sure. Also, to be fair, though, you know what? This makes even more sense because we've already established that mermaids can travel between realms.
Oh.
So the fact that they're in the ocean and the port, that actually makes more sense now. Now that I thought about that. So maybe
it took a while to get to that conclusion.
It wasn't just that the wish created a portal. It created a mermaid portal. Let's go with that.
Because it's in the ocean.
Because it's in the ocean. Let's go with that.
It totally makes sense.
All right, I have one more like bit of note to go over that's mostly about Regina and Robin. So, what did you rate Fall?
So I gave plot 7.
Okay.
Because it's good plot, but then you have the random cave onto the beach.
That's fair.
And people are just chilling with the spell. And, you know, Regina's the best part of all of it. And Rumpel gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
And character and personal, I gave 8. So I gave this a 23. It's not terrible. It's definitely a nice big build to what I know is about to come. And I'm really excited for this. But at the same time, I'm just like, what are you guys doing? It's a lot of all around the place. A lot of just being like, Elsa, I'm happy you found your sister, but you just screwed everybody.
Yeah,
Um, but I guess without the necklace, she wouldn't have found Anna. So I guess it works out in the end, but
fair.
it's just I have some issues, but not enough to really be too mad.
That's fair. I also gave character and personal eights because it's a generally enjoyable episode.
Yeah.
It's a little frustrating with Elsa's blind faith is exactly what's screwing them right now. Because and so it's a little bit frustrating there. But it's such a significant build up to what's gonna happen, and it gives us all the last bits of context we need about what happened to Arendelle. Um, because this is a teaser that I can do now that you've seen that. Someone is gonna be talking to Kristoff in the next episode, and what they're going to say is they call him Iceman. He's like, yeah, I'm calling you Iceman. You're from Arendelle. What are you doing selling ice? The whole place is frozen.
Okay, that's good.
That's one line I can give it because that one, well, it's part of because that's a line that's part of a
That's
larger.
David.
It is David.
Okay, I picked up on that one. It
Yeah,
sounds like something David would
because
say.
also like that's because that's just, yeah, it's like, oh, shut it, Iceman, Iceman. Who you calling Iceman? Stable boy. That's like it's a that's the kind of altercation you get between friends.
I'm excited for that.
And that, but
I love that I was able to hear the line and pinpoint exactly who said it, though.
I
That
think
means
you've
I
also
know my shit.
you've also heard me use his voice a couple times. I think
Yeah.
it helps. But that altercation is part of a larger altercation, which is even funnier. Which I can't do more of that one. But I also didn't finish my score. So that was 8s for character and personal, and a 10 for plot because it is it's building up to the climax of the season of the arc. So I gave it a 26 instead of a 28. But
That's interesting.
yeah. But like with Regina in this episode, and so much of her and Robin is like, I love that her instinct was to protect the people that she loves, and that included Robin and Roland, because when we see them
Yeah.
at first, it's not just a close up on Robin's face, it's Robin and Roland from her perspective, which I thought that was just like a really great way to frame that. But so much of this episode is she knows what she's capable of.
Mhm.
Like compared to everybody else, she may not be the most dangerous person, but she also knows, for lack of a better term, what the evil queen is like when Regina's not home.
Oh, that's true.
So, and she knows what the Evil Queen is capable of, which is murdering
Bad things.
bad things, murdering hundreds of people, creating a curse that, tortures hundreds, and all because a 10-year-old spilled a secret. So,
She's got some anger issues to work through.
she's got some anger issues, some coping skills that she needs to learn, but like she's learning them as Regina, and the Curse of Shattered Sight brings out the Evil Queen, which she will be a lot of fun
Haven't seen
because
her in a little while.
we haven't seen the Evil Queen all season.
Ooh, I'm ready. I'm
We haven't
excited.
Yeah, last time we saw the Evil Queen was the season 3 finale.
I'm just really excited though because like the Evil Queen is what really made me like this show, not just Leroy, And so getting her back and not having her for so long, I miss her snarkiness so much. I
Yeah.
love where she's like, I love her growth. I love everything she's been doing, but I just need a taste.
No, I know. And it's the thing of like, for as much as we enjoy seeing her like that, like I always say, it feels like the longer she goes without playing the Evil Queen, the more fun and the more Lana seems to revel in it. And like, this is the purest form of the Evil Queen that we'll probably have ever gotten to see so far.
Ooh.
Because to be fair, even towards the end when she's about to cast the curse, that's still the Evil Queen with the littlest bit of Regina still in there. This curse is designed to bring out the worst in everyone. And it's essentially locking away their moral compass.
I'm so excited.
And it's going to be so much fun.
Can't wait for Snow to just lay into David.
I give you one more bit.
Oh, yay.
Regina gets a sword.
Oh my God.
Because we get a line. I don't need magic to kill you. Magic is too good for you. I want to watch you bleed.
Oh my God. That's so hot.
Right? There's a photo that I'll show you that is from a not used take that I continually go, the creators, whoever decided this wasn't going to be used, cowards. They showed it to us anyway, but cowards, they didn't leave it in the show.
I'm so excited to see everything, but I have to wait a week.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be because it's an episode. It's so serious yet so unserious at the same time.
That's how it should be.
I think so.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 8, Episode 10, The Secret Ceramics Room of Secrets, and Episode 11, Sleeping with the Frenemy. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.